The auditorium lights flickered as people settled into their seats. From backstage, Nathaniel, Nate, Cruz stood trembling, his knuckles white around the microphone stand. A single overhead spotlight cut through the darkness, illuminating him in a lonely halo. He inhaled deeply, his heart pounding like a tribal drum. This was the moment, his shot at a life he had only dared to imagine. Hook introduction. Nate was 14 when his father lost his job, and the family of 6 was pushed to the brink. In their small barangay in Quezon City, the sound of traffic and jeepneys mingled with children chasing stray dogs and the scent of grilled tofu wafting in the humid air. At night, Nate would practice singing while sweeping their modest front porch, trying to drown out the distant hum of tricycles, hoping that one day his voice might carry him to somewhere safer, somewhere bright. When the televised talent competition announced that, for one special performance, the judges would use a golden buzzer to send a contestant directly to the grand finale, Nate's mother, Lila, jokingly whispered, "Maybe you can hit that for us." He pretended not to hear, but late at night, he played his guitar in the dim corner of their home and asked quietly, "What if I could?" He'd never sung in front of strangers, but he believed deep in his bones that maybe, just maybe, kindness and opportunity could change things. Now, backstage in that massive theater, he looked over at the bristling cameras, the row of judges' faces half-lit, and the thousands of expectant viewers. Somewhere in that crowd might be someone who believed in him more than he believed in himself. Rising action, relatable conflict. As the announcer called his name, Nate's legs shook, but he stepped forward into the light. The audience applauded politely, curious. He introduced himself in stilted English, apologizing for his accent, confessing he was nervous. One judge, a stern woman in her 60s named Margaret, narrowed her eyes. Another, a younger man named David, leaned forward. The third, Maria, smiled encouragingly. The host asked what he would sing. A hush fell. Nate's throat tightened. He answered, "I will sing, Hotel California, by the Eagles." Some in the audience murmured, others glanced skeptically. It was a bold choice for a poverty-stricken boy from Manila. But to Nate, it represented something. The journey into the unknown, the longing for something better, the haunting beauty of dreams. As the orchestra's intro began, Nate closed his eyes. In that moment, he saw his mother, tucking in his younger sister. He saw his father's resigned face when he lost his job. He saw his own face in the cracked mirror, fingers calloused from odd jobs, hopes battered but unbowed. He opened his mouth and sang. His voice quivered at first, thin, raw, but as the melody built, something changed. The room fell hushed. Vulnerability became strength. He hit the high notes. Heard the harmonies. As he passed the halfway point, his voice grew surer. The judges sat motionless, hands unconsciously clutched. Unexpected turn, realization moment. Halfway through the final chorus, the music paused abruptly. The lights flickered. A hush. The backdrop screen went blank. Nate froze. A technician rushed on stage, whispering something. The orchestra quieted. The audience murmured in confusion. Nate's heart sank. It seemed technical difficulties might ruin his chance. He glanced at the judges. Maria's kind eyes looked back. David frowned. Margaret appeared irritated. But then Maria stood. She raised her hand, and the music technician gestured to resume. When the backing track restarted, there was no orchestral accompaniment, only gentle guitar strumming. The mic feed was restored, and Nate resumed, his voice softer now, more fragile, but undiminished. He sang the rest of the song a cappella, leaning on every ounce of emotion he had. The audience leaned forward. Judges sat in silence, absorbing every lingering note. When he ended, a single piano key played the final chord. The silence that followed felt endless. Then the crowd erupted. That unplanned interruption made the performance even rawer, more human. It was no longer a polished, rehearsed number. It was a young boy, facing obstacles, persevering, shining in the darkness. He had bared himself. Deepening conflict, internal struggle. Once backstage again, Nate's heart pounded in his ears. He wiped sweat from his brow. The judges huddled. The host paced. He prayed they would push the golden buzzer. But doubt gnawed at him. What if they don't believe I deserve it? What if they think I was just the poor kid singing a foreign song? Outside, his mother waited in the VIP room, dressed simply, clutching a prayer bead bracelet. She paced the hallway, whispered to herself, asked the guard this and that. Her heart ached with fearful hope. The judge's deliberation dragged on. Margaret cleared her throat, fixing her gaze on Nate through the curtain slit. Maria said, "We have witnessed something rare." David said, "It's unconventional." Then the host stepped out, announced they would give feedback. The crowd quieted. Margaret first. You have courage. But singing, Hotel California, is a big challenge. Your accent, your tone, there were times it wavered. Nate's throat went dry. David, next. I disagree with Margaret. I think what we saw was magic. When the power cut happened, most would freeze. You continued. That shows heart beyond technical ability. Nate swallowed. Maria came last. I was moved. Hearing you sing, raw, uncertain, yet full of longing, touched me. You made us feel your life, your struggle, your hope. Then the host motioned to Maria. Do you wish to press the golden buzzer right now? Maria hesitated, glancing at her fellow judges. Then she walked forward slowly and pressed the giant golden button in front of her seat. A cascade of golden confetti exploded overhead. The audience gasped. Lights swirled. The host's voice boomed. The golden buzzer is activated. Nate Cruz goes straight to the grand finale. Tears blurred Nate's vision. He covered his mouth. The judges stood and applauded. Maria swallowed a tear. David nodded, looking proud. Margaret, unexpected, clapped with an approving smile. Climax transformative act of compassion. Backstage, the host guided Nate up onto the stage again. His knees shook as he accepted the adulation. Cameras zoomed in. People cheered. Maria descended and embraced him. His mother rushed in, sobbing, burying her face in his shoulder. The crowd's cheers turned into a roar. In that moment, a wave of compassion and generosity swept through the room, not just applause but belief. Maria had risked going against expectations, choosing to lift up someone whose talent might otherwise be overlooked. That act gave Nate a future. Not just for him, but for his family, for all those who share his struggles. In the following days, news outlets picked up the story. Poor Filipino boy soars with golden buzzer. Donations poured in. Music schools offered scholarships. A sponsor flew his family to be by his side. The media interviewed his mother, who said, I never believed we could leave poverty. But now, I believe in miracles. Nate's classmates cheered him. His little sister watched on television, whispering, that's my brother. His father stood at the doorway, silent, tears welling. When the grand finale came, he sang once more, this time without accompaniment, just voice and guitar. He gave every note to his mother, his father, his siblings, and to every kid who had ever believed their dreams might be too big. He did not win first place, but that did not matter. He had already won something greater: recognition, opportunity, love. Resolution, heartwarming uplift. Months later, Nate and his family moved to a small apartment closer to the city center. He enrolled in a music academy. His voice matured. He began writing his own songs, blending English and Tagalog, telling stories of hope, resilience, compassion. He never forgot Maria's act of kindness in pressing that golden buzzer. She remained a mentor and friend, cheering him on. On the anniversary of that night, the show invited him back as a guest performer. He opened with Hotel California, once again, this time with a full orchestra behind him, but he still sang what he sang then, with heart, vulnerability, conviction. When he finished, Maria whispered to him, you deserve more than one golden buzzer. But you've awarded yourself one every day since. Before he left, Nate turned to the camera, looked into the lens, and addressed the millions watching at home. I stood little, poor, afraid, just a boy with a voice and a dream. But tonight, I am many things: grateful, hopeful, full of love. If one judge believed in me, and one act of kindness changed my life, imagine what one single act of kindness can do for someone else. Be that light. And so his story became something more than a talent show moment. It became a testament to the transformative power of compassion, to the courage found in vulnerability, and to the truth that every person, no matter their origin, carries within them the flicker of greatness. In quiet slums, parents told their children, sing your heart out. You never know whose button of kindness might lift you. Around the world, people carried forward the lesson: we rise not just by our own strength, but by the hands that reach out to lift others. And somewhere, in a small home in Manila, a boy still hums that melody by candlelight, no longer with trembling fear, but with hope in every note, believing deeply that kindness, once given, can echo forever.